Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Real quick, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we drop new content. Check us out on Apple and Spotify. If you're listening on podcasting platforms, give us a 5-star review if you enjoy. What's going on, everyone? Hope y'all doing well. I wanted to come on here and give you guys a life update. I don't really do a lot of these. As a matter of fact, this is the first one that I've ever done, but I felt this was necessary for 2 reasons. One, I want to let you guys know what I have planned for the future of JT Sports with me just graduating college. And 2, I just want to talk about my college experience overall because I kind of have been holding it in. I haven't really talked to nobody about it. And I feel like me talking to you guys about it will make me feel a lot better. Because to be honest with you guys, my college experience was a complete shit show. And it wasn't because of the school that I went to. As a matter of fact, I loved the school. I went to Florida Atlantic University located in Boca Raton. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's the same school that Lane Kiffin was coaching at for a few years before he became the head coach at Ole Miss. And they recently appeared in the Final Four last year in 2023. And if I had to rate FAU 1 through 5, I would give it a 4 out of 5. The campus was beautiful. I had really great professors. And I never really had a hard time with anybody in the administration when it came to financial aid, housing. I had a few situations, but they got settled pretty well. But you know, the reason why I call my college experience a shit show is because I was ignorant to what I was walking into. Because I thought that college was all about academics, going to your classes, getting your work turned in, and making good grades and getting your degree, which I ultimately went to college and got what I went there for, getting my degree. But the part that gave me the most problems and why I say I struggled in college and why I didn't really enjoy my time there is because of the social element. And that's something that a lot of people never tell you about with college. They make it all about, you know, get good grades, turn your work in, and you're cool. But nobody ever told me that the social element was also a big part of what makes your college experience, right? And I never initially planned on going to college. What I planned on doing was YouTube full time, which I'm doing right now and I plan on continuing to do. But back then, you know, I was talking to my high school counselor and he was saying, JT, like, what's the point of you taking these AP and these dual enrollment classes if you're not going to use the college credits when you go to college? Because part of taking these dual enrollment courses is to help you get a head start on college so you can graduate in less time. That's how I ended up graduating in 2-3 years instead of having to do 4 and 4.5 like most people. And I told him, bro, I'm only doing this to get my GPA up so I can get into National Honor Society. And the only reason I wanted to get into National Honor Society is because I wanted to prove a point to this one teacher who always tried to make it seem like I was dumb and whatnot. And I ended up coming up short. I needed a 3.5 GPA to get into Honor Society, but I only had a 3.4, and he was kind of a dick about it. So I kind of felt like I wasted my time. But my guidance counselor at the time, he was saying, no, like, continue taking these classes and, you know, think about some college options. Because even though he knew I wanted to do YouTube full time, he was like, you can go to college for 3 years, major in journalism, which can help you get better at your craft. And also you can take the 3 years to learn what you need to do. So once you graduate and you still plan on doing this full time, you have a better understanding of what you need to do so you can increase your chances of success on this platform, which he was right about. You know, my 3 years in college, I learned so much. And I'm at a point now where I'm super confident that I can do this full time. But you know, my first semester in college was actually great. It was the best semester of college that I had my 3 years at FAU. I had 3 roommates that were really cool. One of them I had already knew before I had got to FAU through a mutual friend because we both were from Jacksonville. And then the other roommate that I had, he's one of my best friends to this day, same as the other roommate that I had. And my second semester, fall 2021, that's really when I started to get a taste of the college experience, because my first semester, spring 2021, you couldn't really do much because of the restrictions that were put in place because of COVID. But it wasn't as many restrictions fall 2021 as there was spring 2021. And things were a little bit more open. You can meet more people. And my first two semesters were pretty smooth. But after the second semester and I went into my spring semester 2022, that's when things went left. And that's when I say it was a shit show, because all the friends that I met my first two semesters, they either dropped out, transferred, or they just didn't get housing again. So that ended up putting me in a situation where I had to meet new people, which is something that I struggle at. And I don't struggle at meeting new people because I'm introverted. As a matter of fact, I'm an introvert and an extrovert. I'm extroverted because I know how to socialize with people. I know how to make friends when I want to. What makes me introverted at times is that I have a hard time wanting to get out, just because I just enjoy being in my room, talking about football, watching football, and playing NCAA 14. Those are three things that I love more than any other thing in life outside of like my friends and my family. So, for me personally, I don't really care that much to go out and socialize with people. And me being in college, the more I attempted to get to know people, the more I was like, yeah, this is why like I stayed to myself, because most people aren't really worth having around. And that's what made the social part of college difficult for me, because you're a long way from home. You don't really know a lot of people, and everybody comes from different walks of life. Because down at FAU in Boca Raton, you'd be surprised the amount of diversity on that campus. Like, they swore it was a PWI, but my time there, it never felt like a PWI. The only time it felt like a PWI was when I was in the classrooms. But outside of that, you got a bunch of white folks, Caribbean folks, you got Haitian people, Jamaican people, you got people from South Florida, but also from the northern part of Florida, like where I'm from, Jacksonville. And then you got people from Georgia, Michigan, a lot of people from New York and New Jersey. And I always used to ask people like, bro, you're from New York and New Jersey. How the hell did you find out about FAU? Like, what the hell made you come all the way from New York, New Jersey to Boca Raton? And there's a lot to love about FAU, which is why I give it a 4 out of 5 rating, because it's nice. It's next to the beach. It's in a nice location that doesn't have a lot of crime. The city is really nice. And you can actually feel safe in Boca Raton. I never was able to walk around Jacksonville outside of any time before 8 p.m. Boca Raton, you can walk outside at 5 o'clock in the morning and feel safe. You can't do that shit in Jacksonville. You walk out at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., you damn near put yourself at risk at getting robbed. And they got curfews where I'm at. So, when it came to the social element of college, I really struggled, just because, I thought I knew who I was before I got to FAU. But then once I started interacting with people during my time there, and, relationships and friendships, started to go left, that's when I started to question who I was. Because I was like, bro, did this go left because of me? Did this not work out because of them? Or is it a mix of both? And I really feel it was a mix of both. But a lot of people I talk to say that, it wasn't me, it was more so them. Because I'm the kind of person that, I'm an honest, truthful person. I'm going to keep it real with you, and I expect you to keep it real with me. But you see, I was ignorant to the fact that it was my introduction into adulthood. A lot of my college experience is probably what the world entails. A lot of people are only out for themselves, and we live in a selfish society. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you got to put yourself first, because if you don't put yourself first, nobody else is. The only problem is, there was times when I overextended myself and I got burnt for it when I should have known better. And that was just way too common a theme for me in college. just because of the kind of person I am. Even though like I'm extroverted, introverted, I more so choose to be by myself, but I got a really small friend group. You know, the same 10 friends that I had before college or the same 10 friends that I have after college, because most of them I didn't even meet in college. My friend group I have goes all the way back to kindergarten, sandbox days. And I'm a really loyal person. Like I've never fallen out with anybody until I got to college. And even in high school, like I always got along with everybody. Like my first year, freshman year of high school, I knew nearly everybody in my graduation class because I had bounced around so many elementary and middle schools that I knew so many people in high school just because of that. And I never really had this problem until I got to college because it just was a different environment that I wasn't really used to. And it's just that everybody comes from different walks, different upbringing. So how you may go about handling a situation, somebody else may not go about handling that situation in the same way. And the way they go about handling it may make you think, bro, like, what the hell? Why would you even act like that when you didn't even have to do that? You feel me? You just making the situation more complicated than what it had to be. So that's what really made the social part of college so difficult for me. It's just, understanding that not everybody sees things the same way I see them. And I'm not saying that I see the world perfectly. There definitely were instances that I could have handled a lot better. But, it just was really tough for me just because, I felt trapped in a box. I felt like I didn't really fit in. And I wasn't trying to fit in. I didn't choose to sign up for any organizations or any frats. I had the opportunity to, but I just like, man, F that, bro. Like, I got to talk about football, bro. I got to watch these games. I ain't got time to be joining these organizations. And, that probably is something that I do regret. Maybe I could have joined the organization or two. But it's just, I just had such bad instances with people down there that I really didn't know who I was once I graduated. And even right now to this day, like I'm still trying to figure out who I am because I feel like I got college PTSD, or post-college PTSD when it's like I've had so many bad instances with people or bad situations with the people down there. It's like I don't see the world the same anymore. And I got to realize that the whole entire world isn't FAU. But it's like those situations kind of shaped my perception on how I see people now. And it's kind of to the point where it's like I'm trying to figure out, I'm still trying to get over it, and I'm trying to leave all that shit behind me. Because you see, the thing about college is like a lot of people in college are trying to live life to the fullest because that's going to be the last time in life people are ever going to be around that amount of people, and they're going to have the opportunity to really live life, spontaneously or live life fast. And I'm not one of those kinds of people. You feel me? I'm a really, disciplined person. I'm a creature of habit. That's what they call. And, I'm somebody who, you give me a routine, I stick to it. And that's why I was so great when it came to the academic part of it. Because, the academics was easy. You feel me? And it was more easier than high school. And people were saying that college was harder than high school for them. And I'm trying to figure out how, bro, because it's like you pick your own classes. You pick the time that you want your classes. You build your schedule around you. And it worked to my benefit. But socially, though, just being around such a different group of people, growing up in Jacksonville, you grow to come a little bit accustomed to how people that you grew up around act. So me going to Boca Raton, being in Jacksonville for 16 years of my life, the people operate way differently than how they would in Jacksonville. And I just never got adjusted to it. And I'm pretty sure everybody says that, the people they went to school with were weird. And maybe I would have gotten a better social experience if I went to a HBCU. But HBCUs were never for me. And the reason for that is because they were unorganized. Anytime I tried to apply for FAMU, it was a lot of disorganization. Even when I tried to transfer to FAMU when I was on the wait list for FAU, I was like 300 on FAU's waiting list. And then I ended up getting a room before I even got accepted to transfer to FAMU. Just because, fam, you was just so disorganized. And I'm somebody that likes structure. And I'm not trying to bash HBCUs. There are some wonderful, great, historically black universities. But let's not act like HBCUs aren't disorganized, bro. Like, they just do things so randomly. And I didn't want to have to go through, trying to have to beg and hunt down people for my financial aid. That's why I went to FAU. It's like, I'm going to just go with the white folks. At least they're going to be organized. You feel me? They're not going to have to make me have to chase them down for the most important things that I need. But, at the same time, maybe me being at a HBCU, being around more of my people, maybe would have just been a different culture fit for me, that maybe I would have had a better time enjoying my college experience. Because you see, everybody tells me, well, JT, you graduated, you got what you intended to get, which is true. But at the same time, like, college is also experience. And I didn't really get the experience just because, I wasn't able to really mesh with the people. And, it was people that, after I graduated that, I shook hands with after graduation. And I was like, saying to myself, I should have hung out with you a lot more. But, after, things started to go left for me, I just kind of started to just become a recluse. And then I got depressed. And that's when you guys, I know you guys remember a few years back when I kind of broke down saying how I was thinking about quitting YouTube because, the content wasn't really doing that good. And the reason for that was because I just wasn't as locked in as what I am right now. Not having to worry about school and all of the other things that comes with college. I only have to worry about YouTube now. But being down there, I got burnt out really often just because it's like I got school, I got to balance YouTube, and it's the only thing that I had paying the bills. And it just got to a point where I just got frustrated and I just tapped out a lot of times. And it wasn't that I ever thought about quitting YouTube. And more so was that, YouTube coupled with everything that I was going through and my frustrations with me not really getting the college experience that I wanted kind of just all meshed together. And it just leaked out of me. So really, like when I broke down about thinking about quitting YouTube, it wasn't just all because of that. It also was because of the college part of it too. And that kind of held me back with how I wanted to take this platform. Because it's like I had to take mental health breaks. I had to talk to a therapist, which didn't really help that much because she ended up leaving after like 4 or 5 months in. And it's just, I just felt so trapped in the box to the point I felt like I was serving a prison sentence down there. I'm not saying that college is prison, but just for me, I was just trapped into a box because it isn't the kind of situation that I would prefer to be in. I'm one of those kinds of people that I want to be around people that, are goal oriented. They're focused on work and everybody's striving to accomplish their dreams. In college, everybody's focused on living the fast life, partying. And that's why I kind of struggled when it came to the social aspect of it. And, even now I'm still trying to get over, the college experience that I went through. I ain't going to say like I had anything traumatic happen to me, but I did have, my first heartbreak there. I did have some, people that I thought I was cool with that ended up, double crossing me, not seeing it coming. And, I'm not trying to say this to make anybody feel sorry for me. It's just, I just wanted to talk about it just because I had to get it off my chest. You feel me? And I do feel a lot better now talking about it. But, I just didn't really have the college experience that I was hoping for just because I was ignorant to what I was getting into. I wasn't prepared for the social aspect of it. I dominated academically, but just socially, it just ruined my experience to a certain extent. When you pay your phone bill, do you always tell yourself, man, I'm spending way too much money on this shit? Are you looking to save? Our partner Mint Mobile has you covered with plans as low as $15 a month that give you unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile right now and start saving on your monthly phone bill. Go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports or click the link in the description or pick comment below to get access to premium wireless for as low as $15 a month. Right now, new customers that purchase a Mint Mobile plan before May 31st will also receive a 6-month subscription to Paramount Plus for no additional cost. So what are you waiting for? Switching to Mint is easy. It only takes 15 minutes to do. You can get a new phone or keep the current one that you got. Go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports or click the link in the description or pinned comment below and start saving on your monthly phone bill and get a 6-month subscription to Paramount Plus for no additional charge when you sign up before May 31st. Hurry, this offer won't last long, so switch to Mint Mobile today. And now that gets me to my next point. What's next for JT Sports? Now that I'm out of school, I've graduated college. I graduated with my major being multimedia journalism or broadcast journalism, whatever you want to call it, which is what I do now. And I have 3 minors in sociology, communication, and public relations, although only 2 of those are officials, that being sociology and communication. But I add public relations in there because I technically could have added it as a minor, but you can only declare for 2 minors. So technically I got 2 and really I have 3. And what's next for JT Sports is that I'm now really doing this full time now as an adult, which means that, everything really is going to be more calculated in terms of how I'm finna structure my content. Because another problem that I had in college is that I didn't know what JT Sports was neither. Because at one point, I talked more college football than I did the NFL. And then it became a point when I talked more NFL than I did college football because I felt like I was dividing my audience. I felt like I had to pick one. And then, this past year, 2023 is when I really figured out what I want JT Sports to be. JT Sports is a place where you get raw, uncut, and unbiased takes on the NFL and college football. And I came to this realization that, I love football. I don't just love college football, but I love the NFL as well. And I know that there's millions of people out there that share my same love and passion for football. Like, you just love football. You just love watching it. It doesn't matter if it's high school, college, XFL, NFL, college football. You're just a fan of football. But at the same time, though, I produce enough content where if you're somebody who just loves the NFL, there's enough NFL content for you to consume. If you just love college football, there's enough college football content for you to consume. And also, we talk about the draft. And now, with me attempting to do this full time, a lot of people in my inner circle kind of don't know if I can pull this off for real. And, I have, some family members that even doubt if I'm going to be able to do this full time. Because, they kind of live in the old school era where they feel like the only way you can make a good living is by checking into a 9-to-5. But they don't realize how much the world has changed and how many more people are becoming influencers, entrepreneurs, and full-time podcasters. And, I really am a big fan of Josh Pate. I've been watching him ever since he was doing it independently back in 2019 before he ever started working at 247 Sports. And I just look at how big he's become today. And I've just gotten a lot of inspiration from him. A lot of inspiration from guys like Colin Cowherd and John Middlecoff. And that's why now, you see my content so much different than what it used to be. Because how I used to do my content is I used to try to be neutral. I ain't never wanted to piss off a particular fan base. But, I was listening to John Middlecoff in my dorm room back in February. And he was, doing a mailbag episode. And one of his viewers had DM'd him and asked, hey, how do I get into sports media? And, how can I make a living off it? He said, you got to have takes. You got to have strong opinions. And it's hard to have strong opinions when you always try to be neutral and you try not to piss anybody off. But I realized last year with me covering Colorado, no matter how neutral I tried to be and talking about Colorado, people, if I didn't pick a side, they would pick a side for me. They just would make assumptions. And at that point, I realized, it doesn't matter how neutral I try to be. people are always going to feel like I'm leaning a certain way. So I might as well just go ahead and pick a side. That's why you see me posting so many videos now about how the Raiders aren't going to be good, because it's like, it doesn't matter if I try to be neutral about talking about the Raiders, people are still going to get upset. So I might as well lean all the way into it. And plus, like, it just does better from a viewership standpoint. Nick Wright, as much as people don't like him because they feel like a lot of his takes are fake and he just does it for clicks, that's what builds up an audience. You got to have opinions, but the only difference is that I actually mean my opinions. And it's like, it makes no sense if I'm betting on this, because I also do a lot of football betting during the season and I make a decent living off it. It's like, if I'm doing over under win totals and I feel like this team is going to be under 9 wins and they're going to have a losing record, I might as well just come out here and make content about how I don't believe said team's going to be good. Meanwhile, I'm picking the over for certain teams like the Detroit Lions. There's no point in me making neutral content about the Detroit Lions if I believe they're actually going to be good. So I might as well pick a side if I'm picking which teams are going to be bad and which teams are going to be good. And, I realize that even if I am super critical of a team, there are still people that, if they're a realistic fan, that are going to agree with what I'm saying, even if I end up being wrong. And, I have no problem coming on here and admitting when I'm wrong. And I also love to be right. And that's why it just makes perfect sense for me to start changing up my content to being more raw, more unbiased, and more authentic. And the people who say I'm hating on their team, like, I'm not hating on your team. I'm not biased towards any team, bro. Like, I don't have a reason to be biased or a reason to hate your team doing this. It's just the opinion. You feel me? Don't take it to the heart. It's just that when it comes to being successful on this, you can't drop water cooler content, as they call it. Just trying to be neutral, trying to be nice, trying to appease everybody, because it's hard to do that. And me doing that, the last couple of years didn't really get me anywhere. When I started actually having opinions and actually taking a stand, actually picking a side, that's when I started to experience the most growth, and not just viewership, but in subscriber count too. Because that's me being authentic. Me trying to be neutral isn't being authentic, because when it comes to sports, a lot of these things don't require you to be neutral. You either got to have an opinion and it's either going to be right or it's going to be wrong. But the difference that separates me between the people that you see on the national media, like Stephen A. Smith or Nick Wright, my opinions aren't me just spewing nonsense just to get clicks. If I say something, I believe it. If I say the Raiders aren't going to be good, I believe that shit, and I'm willing to put money on it. You feel me? And I was like, it's no point in me having to generate and make content that's clickbaity that I don't believe in, when, NFL fans and college football fans are naturally just going to watch content that is either talking well about their team or bad about their team. Because it's like, if you see something that's good about your team, you're going to click on it because you want to hear why. But if you see something bad about your team, yeah, you may not watch that video all the way through because I probably pissed you off. But at the same time, like, you're going to be interested in hearing why I feel your team is going to be good as what you think they will be. And that's what JT Sports is about. Unbiased, raw, uncut analysis. And that's what you can expect out of this platform moving forward. And also, my goal for JT Sports, or the JT Sports podcast, is I want to have the #1 sports podcast in the world, or at least the #1 football podcast in the world. And right now, we're nowhere close to that. But I want to change that. And that's my mission from this point forward, to get on those podcasting charts, end up having a football podcast that is well respected. And even if you don't agree with everything that I say, you can at least respect my opinion, because contrary to what a lot of y'all believe, I do a lot of homework on this. I do research. I am well informed with a lot of this. So you're not going to hear me just get on here and spew some nonsense that isn't accurate. I may get a couple of things wrong from time to time, but for the most part, like, a lot of my opinions come from research and well-informed, sites and sources. So it's not like I'm coming on here giving takes out the ass that, aren't informed. And it's like, even if you disagree, my whole thing is I want you to give me a reason in the comment section why you disagree outside of you don't know shit about football. Because then we can't have a intellectual conversation. Because then you kind of go against what I'm trying to build, which is a football community where we can just have intellectual talks about football, rather it be college football, the draft, or the NFL. And you can't have an intellectual conversation if your whole counter argument is, bro, you don't know shit about football. Why do you feel I don't know shit about football? Like, what did I say about your team that make you come to that conclusion? Like, I can go back and forth with people all day about this. You feel me? But I can't go back and forth with people who don't give a good counter argument. Because I love talking about this. And there's plenty of times I've interacted with you guys in the comment section, going back and forth with you guys, especially you Raiders fans out there. So it's just, I'm trying to build a community of diehard football fans that are passionate about football, whether it be the NFL, college football, or if you just like both. And I also want to have an audience of people who fuck with me for me. Because I had a problem, while I was in college, my first 3 years of trying to figure out who I was, not just as a person, but as a content creator. I thought for me to have success, I had to be like Josh Pate. Had to come on here, talk proper, make sure that I didn't mispronounce any words, make sure that I could hide my Florida lingo or my Florida slang vernacular. Like, if you're from Florida, you understand what I'm talking about. Just a certain way I say certain words. It doesn't sound professional in the sense. But, over time, like, I've become more comfortable in being who I am. Don't really care too much about the criticism. Like, I know I'm going to mispronounce words. I know I'm going to misscrew some things. That's just how it is. But, I really want to do this full time. And a lot of people keep saying, man, JT, you should pick up another job. But I'm one of those people that when I'm trying to go for something, I don't take a half in approach with it. I'm not a person that puts one foot in the door and leaves one foot out the door. Like, I'm all the way in. And, if this doesn't work out and I don't see the results that I want, then of course I will have to have an alternative plan, go a different direction, and work for somebody. But right now, at least for the next 8 months, I'm doing this full time. I plan on trying to scale this thing up even more. I plan on getting better equipment. And I really want to do this full time because, to be honest with you guys, bro, like, as big as an achievement college is for me, graduating and getting my diploma, like, making a living off this, being able to wake up and say, bro, like, my job is talking about football for a living. That's what will satisfy me. And once I can get this platform to a point where I can make a great living off it, I get over 100K subscribers, bro, I will be complete. Because this is my biggest life goal. This is the thing that I've been putting all my time in my whole entire life to do. I've been doing this since 2019. And if I can end up doing this full time, being able to pay bills, car note, car insurance, rent, that would be me accomplishing my biggest goal. Because I'm a simple person. I don't have a lot of goals. I don't have a lot of things that I want. The thing that I want the most out of life is being able to say that I do for a living what I love the most. Watching and talking about football with a lot of other diehard football fans. And if I can't do that, and I have to end up working for somebody for the rest of my life because I can't make this work, then I'll end up leaving this earth unfulfilled. The only thing that's going to give me fulfillment in this life is being able to do this full time. And I know that there's a lot of work that I have to put in to accomplish that task. And starting next week, I'm going to be putting all my effort into doing this. The last couple of weeks I've been putting out content, but you guys who've been subscribed for a while know that I used to drop way more content while I've been dropping recently. So I'm going to get back to that. A lot of my video ideas are going to be more like interesting. They're going to be compelling. They're going to be from unique angles. I'm going to take a lot of time to really analyze these teams, really break down every team's offense, defense, the coaching staff moves. And I also have to find a way to make it interesting for you guys to want to click on them, which I've done a pretty good job of, from the response that I've got from my Raiders videos, my Carolina Panthers videos. Like, that's what I'm trying to build. You feel me? I'm trying to build a community. And, with the way that I've structured my titles, I've done a pretty good job of that. So I really want to do this full time. And I can't do this without your support. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You hit that bell icon so you get notified every time we drop new content. And subscribe to the podcast as well. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. The JT Sports Podcast is available. Give us a 5-star review. As I said, our biggest objective is to not just get on those charts, but we also want to have the #1 football podcast in the world. And I can't do it without your support. And lastly, I just want to say, thank you to all you guys who have supported me over the years, even the people who just subscribed, bro. But, I see a lot of day one people who still are rocking with me. And sometimes I kind of tear up a little bit because I'm like, damn, bro, like this man just said, bro, I remember when you had a fade. I remember when you was in high school. I remember when your voice was a little squealy. Now your voice is deep. Hell, I almost broke down on the live stream a few months ago because it was somebody who was in the chat who said, damn, it's been a long time since I've listened to you. And he was like, damn, bro, like you sound so more refined. Like, you're not, speed rushing through sentences. You're taking your time. And, that comment kind of hit me a little bit. It's like, damn, like I have been doing this a while. And I have grown an audience of people that truly like me for me. And you guys were really the only thing that really got me through college. Like, you guys don't know how many times in college, like, I thought about just pulling the plug on myself. You feel me? But, I was like, I can't do this because, I got people that truly, enjoy listening to my content. And, during those live streams, every time I thought about hanging it up, even though I never really had intentions of doing it, like you guys always came to support me. Some of you guys were a little bit tough saying, man, what you doing all that crying for, man? Like, toughen up and keep going. You feel me? It's been times when you guys have donated to me. You feel me? And I can't understate how important you guys have been in my life. That's why I say, like, you guys are like my second family, because, like, I enjoy being able to come on here and talk football with you guys because this is the only thing that I care about more than any other thing in life outside of family and friends. Like, I live, eat, and breathe this shit. You feel me? And I really want to do this full time. There's people in my family that don't believe I can do it. And I don't really have a lot of time to prove to them that I can. So, I need all the support that I can get. But I appreciate you guys for, sticking through with me for all these years. And I appreciate all the new people that have subscribed to the channel that showed support. And that's just it for this episode, man. Just wanted to give you guys a quick life update. I don't even know if half of this made sense. But, I just want to say, like, I appreciate everybody that's been with me for all these years. And, I'm transitioning to a different stage in my life. You feel me? This is where I really have to go hard at getting what I really desire, which is the ability to do this full time and make a living off it. And who knows what else comes from this. You feel me? But just know, like, regardless of how big we get, how much we go up, like, I'm always going to be appreciative of you guys for giving me this platform and giving me this opportunity. Because a lot of people have wanted to do this and they can't do it because either they don't have the voice for it, they don't have the drive or work ethic for it, or they just have a hard time connecting with people. I've known people that have quit. There was people that had way more subscribers than me that just tapped out. And hell, I had a point when I was thinking about doing something else. But, I was like, I love this too much. And I'm somebody that I really work hard at whatever I really want. And I really want this. And, I appreciate all the support. And, this is it for this episode. Like, subscribe, comment. And I will see you guys shortly with another episode of the JT Sports Podcast.